Everything that has happened in society around the human race over the last forever years has been predicated on communication.
Is it possible to communicate as effectively as Gary Vee? For those of you unfamiliar, Gary Vee is a serial entrepreneur obsessed with creating online digital content. Video, written word, audio, you name it, he makes it. And that's what he's famous for. Though he's found lots and lots of business success, he's most widely known these days for his online motivational content, the advice he gives, and specifically, the way he gives it. There's something about the way Gary speaks that really gets into your head that makes you lean in for more. He's extremely charismatic, extremely captivating, and I've always wondered, how exactly is he doing that? Is it just because he talks really fast or speaks louder? Does he have hypnosis powers? Or is there a science to it? If we listen closely enough, can we uncover patterns in his communication style that can give us tools on how to better command attention or help other people? That's what I wanted to figure out for this video. How exactly is Gary Vee wielding language to get inside my head? Let's get into it. So to prepare for this video, I looked through lots and lots of transcripts of Gary Vee's speaking events and how he talks one-on-one. I tried to find a lot of patterns. How long were his sentences? How is he structuring his sentences? What words is he choosing? And these are some of the things that I found. The first thing I noticed is that Gary finds really creative ways to make as many of his sentences as possible start with hooks. Compelling hooks that opens up questions in your head, that makes it so that you lean in wanting to hear what happens next.
And for me, the real interesting thing and question and debate and curiosity is something that I've decided I'm gonna spend the next 80 years of my life on is I'm so crippled by that it makes me laugh. I'm literally crippled. No question to me, one of the reasons I think I'm a successful entrepreneur is
if you were a little frustrated listening to those clips with the ends cut off, that's sort of the point. When you start your sentences that way, it demands a payoff or explanation, or else it's just frustrating to listen to. He's constantly setting up his sentences to raise the stakes and give you a little payoff. Raise the stakes and give you a little payoff. So when you listen to him, it's very, very stimulating. You get that aha, like a relief or satisfaction. A lot of people save these more dramatic, strategic phrases for special occasions. Maybe they'll only put it at the beginning of their speech or the end of their speech, but no, Gary unapologetically is jabbing with them all the time, as much as he possibly can. Sometimes he even finds ways to stuff multiple hooks together in the same sentence.
I've been thinking a lot about a couple things. During an interview today, something kind of populated in my mind that really stood out that I want to start with, which is I've come to realize that
if we tried doing this, it would probably start to sound repetitive or overly dramatic, but Gary's really good at mixing it up. He has so many different phrases and he weaves them together so naturally that we don't even have a chance to catch a breath. He keeps us on this high of being stimulated and being curious of the next thing he's gonna say, the next thing he's gonna say, and the next thing that he's gonna say. But we don't even have time to start tuning him out or getting bored or to question it. Listen to the way that Gary starts his sentences, and if you find some phrases that you like, try incorporating them into your speaking. When I was doing the research for this, I actually compiled a list of Gary's favorite sentence starters and emphasis words and all this stuff. It was so interesting. It's a little too much to get into in this video, but I think I'm gonna make a video about it really soon, in a couple days. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you wanna look at the list early, maybe have it downloaded on your phone for reference or practice, it's available on my new Patreon page, totally for free. You don't need to pay anything to access it. Just go there, download it, and you can have fun with it. So, yeah, enjoy. The second thing that caught my attention about Gary's communication style is that he doesn't actually tell full stories very often. They always talk about story, 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 story. That is the way to get people to remember what you say and connect with what you say. Most of us, when we hear that, we tell a normal story. We go, oh, this reminds me of the time I was talking to this guy, I used to think this. It just keeps going and going and going. For those stories to work, you need a beginning, a middle, a payoff, and an end for it to fully work. And sometimes that takes a lot of time to set up.
We are incredibly good at demonizing technology. We're trying to limit our kids' screen time in a world where they're gonna only live in a digital age.
Often, Gary opts to reframe things instead of telling a full story. When Gary reframes something that you already know, he just has to say one sentence to describe something you already have a scene of in your head.
We judge people when they sit at dinner and both have phones, and we call that sad, without actually understanding those two people actually don't like each other and they're doing what they want to be doing.
He doesn't have to describe new characters or set up the stakes. He describes something you already know. He uses your past experiences as the setup for his story. And then he can focus all of his attention instead on giving it that twist, repainting your scene that you have in your head with his new scene, his new explanation, his new perspective.
You know how many people are sitting here at 28 fucking nervous as shit thinking they missed their moment? When you realize that you're gonna live 2 more full lives, you could spend the next 40 years of your life being super wrong and then at 59 fucker figure it out and have a 10-year run that made you right. Life is sports. Just because you're losing at halftime doesn't mean it's over. You know how many 50, 60-year-olds are here thinking they're wrapping it up when they're gonna live another 40 fucking years? The fuck are you wrapping up?
In this way, Gary sort of cheats and gets the best of both worlds. He doesn't have to spend all this time setting up a long story, but he gives you the feeling of a story. You're left with a scene in your head. You're left with an emotion or perspective or visual or narrative in your head. You don't always have to tell a full-on story in order to be compelling. Instead, sometimes you can convey something really memorable by reworking something they already know and then leaving them with an interpretation they can't forget. The third thing I learned looking at Gary Vee's speech is that, wow, he picks really punchy, fiery, efficient words.
He hacked television. That's why you all know who he is. He's all-time legend because he hacked the attention graft of society of that time. What's crazy was that television, print, and radio had gatekeepers.
Think about how much he's illustrating and how quickly he's conveying it just by choosing the words gatekeeper and hacked. Very quickly he's bringing up the ideas of access and opportunities and barriers, and like it's a trick that they're winning, that you're getting something that you're not supposed to be getting.
It is open for business and it's free.
He's bringing up the visual of a store and again, painting a picture in your head of something that's almost too good to be true. All from that one simple phrase.
I'm thrilled to keep giving you a high with my content. You're mad at the websites that are referral sites now? That's child's play to voice devices.
Giving you a high, child's play. Again, think about how much stronger and more interesting those word choices are, especially in comparison to their alternatives. He's so efficient with his word choice. He chooses words that are so direct and dynamic and efficient. If I want to communicate as effectively as Gary Vee, I'm gonna need to get creative and more intentional about substituting my normal average words, my normal average vocabulary, for substitutes that are more emotional, more visual, more dynamic, and more efficient. The final thing I noticed about Gary Vee's communication style is his love for using questions to catch you off guard and involve you even further.
Like, why won't you take this tactic that I'm giving you? Are you only interested in the money to flex on Instagram to make other people think you're winning? Like what?
Even though he's not actually calling you out from the crowd, it feels like he's calling you out from the crowd because your brain immediately jumps, wait, why did he say that? How does this relate to me? Is he thinking about me when he's saying that? The questions are like mirrors, and like a mirror, it affects everyone differently, and at the same time, everyone sees something different.
Is your self-esteem so low that only getting 5 likes on a TikTok post is so scary to you? Why? Why did that happen?
Even though they can sound softer or nicer because they're less direct, Gary often makes his most intense and pointed remarks with questions. Gary does this a lot during his Q&As. When they ask him a question, he often punches back with a different question that they weren't expecting. He indirectly is giving them advice or exposing a blind spot that they have.
Top 5 tips for graduating high school?
No, sorry, fresh after graduating high school.
Got it. Well, I mean, I think number 1, 2 through 5 has to be self-awareness. Let's go different. What are you actually asking me?
Well, not on script, but
Yeah, fuck your script. Like, yeah, there we go. What are you trying to
what
figure
I'm
out?
asking is, what self-drive should I have when I'm graduating high school? Where should I do? What should I go? What if I have no plans for after what I do?
What do you want?
Something out the box.
What the fuck? Like, play with me here. Like, those are that you're regurgitating thesis. Like, play with me here a little bit. Like, what do you like?
When Gary makes his points like this indirectly without actually spelling it out, it positions him as smart and insightful and wise. It makes you feel like he knows what he's talking about and he is like listening to you or knows something about you that you don't know about yourself.
I don't actually want to be in medical school.
So don't.
But I couldn't quit. I'm already in my 3rd year. I got
Why
2
not?
Huh? Well, if I quit now, I won't get any degree.
Are you going to be a doctor?
Huh?
Are you going to be a doctor?
Well, actually, I don't want to be a doctor.
So
I cannot be
So
told.
why are you finishing medical school?
It's because at that time I was good at biology.
Who gives a fuck?
I mean, when I was in high school, I was pretty good at biology.
I'm not talking about last year.
No.
I'm talking about why are you going to spend the next 2.5 years of your life doing something that you fully believe has nothing to do with what you want to do with your life?
You don't always need to come up with the perfect answer in order to be compelling. Sometimes you can make even more profound or insightful points indirectly by framing them instead as questions. After studying Gary's communication style, it's very clear he loves being a showman. He's really good at being super stimulating and very memorable. He loves finding creative ways to shorten the setup he needs to make his points so that he can focus on the final payoff or the dramatic delivery of what he wants to say. It's all things that we can do. I can communicate effectively like Gary Vee. With practice. Even though the individual parts are simple or easy to understand, they're much harder to actually implement in the basically fight routine that Gary does all the time. It's fascinating when he chooses to be direct or blunt or use a question or use sentence structure or how he weaves it together so naturally. For those of you I haven't met yet, this channel is all about self-awareness. I love analyzing things and learning more about myself and other people so that I can improve my communication, my happiness, my relationships, the way that I can impact this world. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to hang out again soon. At the end of every single video, we say, you are the change maker of your own life. Let's think more deeply. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Peace. Bye.